Good morning. I'd like to welcome you here to the Marcy Scott Media Center here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to start with our Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability. Our first driver today is Chase Elliott, driver of the number 24 Napa Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Chase, you get some home cooking this week. You get you've done a lot of stuff throughout the community. Can you recap just the last couple days of the Chase U events, and then you had a great visit yesterday with your foundation?
We did, yeah. We're kind of launching our foundation this weekend, which is exciting and something new for myself and our entire team. So I think my mom deserves a lot of credit on that. She's been working really hard at it. Our entire team has, but we had a good event at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta yesterday. We had for those of you who don't know, a shoe drawing contest that kind of includes some of the patients there at the hospital to design some shoes for myself and our three teammates, and Jimmy, Dale, and Casey are all going to wear shoes. I'm actually wearing mine for Sunday right now. So a young lady at the hospital drew these, and Alpine Stars was kind enough to actually make the exact copy of what they drew. So pretty exciting. We're going to auction them off. They're up for bid right now for the next 9 or 10 days on chaseelliott.com. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. We're going to open up the floor to questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We will get a wireless mic to you. We'll start right over there with my man in the blue.
Kyle Magda, theracingexperts.com. Chase, big weekend for you back in Georgia, but what I wanted to ask you was, are you looking forward to your broadcast debut tomorrow? Have you talked to any other drivers who have done it, any broadcasters? I mean, what are your thoughts going into that?
I'm excited. It's something that I've never done before, and I honestly didn't really see myself doing it or being asked to do it, so that was kind of cool. I thought Atlanta was a fitting place to give it a shot, so I'm excited about that. I have not talked to anybody about it really yet. We have a broadcast meeting in the morning at 7:30, which I'm kind of excited about, and I'm also kind of not excited about being at 7:30 in the morning, but I think after that we'll probably talk a little bit, maybe to Jeff. I think he's a great one to lean on, and he has a lot of experience, over the past year or so, and I'm not sure if he'll be in that meeting or not, but we'll see.
Trust me, those are fun. We'll go here to the right to Rick.
Rick Miller of AJC. Chase, take us back through the last few laps of the Daytona 500 and talk about your feelings afterwards, how disappointed you were you?
Yeah, I mean, it was had such a great car down there, and a great start to the week, a great Thursday night, and I felt like for us, absolutely sure, very disappointing. I mean, that was a devastating way to end a good week for sure. There's two things I think to look at, when you think about Daytona for us. We had to play the cards we were dealt. I felt like we played them to the best of our ability. I think that's something to be proud of. And B, we ran out of gas. Yes, we were leading, and it's easy to say, it was ours to lose. In reality, there was still 3 laps to go, and 3 laps at Daytona is a long time. So I think for us to sit back and think that we had it locked down is kind of foolish. So, for us, it's disappointing for sure, but there are some positives to take from the day. And again, we were faced with circumstances that we really couldn't control. And I feel like we played what we had the best we could, and some days that's all you can do.
We're going to go next to your left to Caleb, and then we're going to go back over to Mark, then to Woody, and then to Nate.
Caleb Whistler, Speedway Digest. With the new tire rule coming into effect this weekend, how are you going to approach qualifying to conserve your tires for the opening laps of Sunday's race?
Well, I don't think anybody will. I mean, I think the big thing is just trying to hit your laps. Ideally you want to make 3 laps in qualifying. You want to try to get yourself into the top 24 and then the top 12 and then make a run at the pole. So I think if you mess up in a round, it's going to be really hard-pressed to be able to run again and then have a realistic expectation of having a shot at the pole. So I think it's real important to hit it on that first try.
We're going to go to your right to Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Chase, how would you describe your either comfort level or confidence level from this year to last year? Now you've sort of been there and done that.
Some things I guess we have. I'm sure there's a lot of, I know there's a lot of things that I haven't been faced with yet that you're going to see as time goes on. So in some aspects, I feel comfortable. I feel better about some things that I've been faced with. Like I said, there's things I haven't seen yet. So, of those things that we have seen, I feel good about. I feel great about our team. I think we made some good changes over the off season. I feel like everybody's moving in a positive direction, and I feel like, I'm just kind of real proud and happy to be where I am. I think we're in a good position as a group, and I think all of our guys are working well together, and at this point in the season, that's kind of all you can ask for until you get started and kind of see what you're missing and where you need to go.
Okay, we're going to stay to your right, the Woody, and then we're going to come over to Nate.
Woody Kane with MRN. Chase, I know you've only done it for one race, and it was at a super speedway, but in terms of the stage racing here, how do your thoughts of that might play out at a place like Atlanta?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of curious myself to see. I thought the complexion of the Daytona 500 was changed a little bit with the different strategies, and I think that's going to be a consistent thing throughout the entire year. Biggest thing I look at with Atlanta is tires are at such a premium here. You run just a couple laps, and you're going to want tires again because that's going to allow you to move forward, and you're going to have, tenths of a second, even half a second difference even just after a few laps on a set of tires. So, I think with that, everybody's going to want tires all the time. So I think that's going to kind of make the strategy play a little more simplified than maybe it was at Daytona. But I do think the track surface is going to have a big factor in the stage racing as the year goes on, and what you can do on a set of tires, how long you can stay out, and I think that'll change it a good bit.
Go next to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Chase, you don't need me to remind you that Sunday wasn't the first time you've come this close to victory, and the last time that happened was Chicago last year, and you were asked about it then. You said, that's life, it happens, you have to embrace it and move on. Do you still feel that way now after it gets away in the biggest race of the season, or is it a little bit harder to stomach in that instance?
No. I mean, it's still kind of the same deal. I mean, it's disappointing, and you learn through this stuff, and you just try to think about what you could have done differently. At Chicago, faced with a caution there at the end of the race, I don't really know what we could have done about that. And I really don't know what you do about running out of gas with just a couple laps to go either. So, in both of those cases, I felt like from a performance side, I thought we did a good job, and we were close, just not close enough. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it really changes my complexion or outlook on how I view things. It's just, another definitely a disappointing finish to a good day.
We're going to go here to the middle of Thomas and then over here to Jim.
Chase with 11 Alive. How distracting is this week for you? A lot of friends, family, and this is kind of the home track. You get pulled in a lot of different directions this week?
Not really. I think our group does a pretty good job of trying to manage the different things that we have going on. The cool thing about this weekend is, we have our foundation stuff has really been the biggest thing of the week, and that's enjoyable, fun, and something that we've enjoyed doing and working through. So we're going to have those families here at the racetrack on Sunday, and I mean, that's really the biggest thing for us. So no, I think it's it feels pretty normal from a how busy you are standpoint.
Jim.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. I'm not sure how you can answer this question. First of all, what was your awareness of the fuel situation as the 500 went down?
Well, they said we were going to be really close, and that we were basically right there, if not a little short. And really, the situation we were in, leading the race, we didn't talk about falling back to try to draft, because we all know as soon as I do that, the caution comes out, and then everybody makes it from there. So I knew it was really close, and I knew just from the lap that we pitted, without them telling me, I knew it was a long ways on gas for everybody. And obviously once it sputtered, I really knew that we were close. So I was the first one to know for sure.
So given that, were you more disappointed of the fact that you had such a great handling car and weren't able to capitalize on it, or because of the fuel situation?
I guess a little bit of both. I think they kind of come hand in hand. I mean, we had a great car for sure, and the day went pretty well for us, being able to lead some laps and kind of be able to push some lanes forward. I thought our car had the ability to kind of be that guy and be able to push a lane and make something happen, which is what you always want, at a speedway. We were fortunate enough to stay out of some of the wrecks. So really, I think the biggest disappointment is it was just we were able to survive all the way to the end, and that's a hard thing to do in itself. And you don't see a whole lot of super speedway races come down to fuel mileage. So I think that was a big thing, is just it's so hard to survive that race and just to make it to the end. We saw a lot of tore up cars, and we were fortunate enough to get there. And I think that's the biggest thing, is we made it to the end. It's just not in the right manner.
Go next to Thomas.
Chase, you grew up here on this track. What are your thoughts about resurfacing? And then the two-part question, are you sharing your tips and tricks for this track with any of your other teammates?
Well, no, I hope they're sharing their tips and tricks with me. Jimmy, he's won a lot of races here. I think Dale finished second last year, so they've had a lot more success here than I have, for sure. As far as the repave goes, I think my only thing there is I'm really going to enjoy this weekend. I'm excited to run the truck race and the cup race on the old surface.
We're going to go to your left to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Chase, I was just wondering if you could talk about your decision to run the truck race and how many races you might run with GMS this year.
Yeah, it was something those guys approached me about, I guess about a month or so ago, and asked me if I have interest in running here, and I said absolutely. I thought it'd be fun. It really was. There was no more thought put into it than that. It was a phone call. I got a phone call from Mike Beam, and asked me if I would be interested. I said yes, and we started working it out. So it was really kind of a no-brainer for me. I think they're a team that's doing a lot of things, I think, in the right direction. They seem to be building their program the right way. And I've known some of those guys over there for a long time. Mike, you used to work at Dad's shop back when he did his own deal in Dawsonville and whatnot. So from that side, it's pretty cool. And once I got it okayed from all the folks at HMS, it was straightforward. I'd be open to it for sure. I mean, obviously we'll see how this weekend goes, and if they want to have me back or not, I'm not sure. But we haven't really talked about any other races. I've expressed interest in doing some other races. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. So we'll see. Yeah, I hope we can have a good run for those guys. We'll have I think Allegiant on board and Napa on the truck this weekend too. So hopefully we can just have a good run for them, and maybe that'll offer some more opportunities to do it again in the future with them.
Go back to your right to Rick.
Rick Miller again. Chase, I don't have the exact numbers, but your dad ran second a lot of times before he ever won his first cup race. I wondered if that subject's ever come up in y'all's conversations, and does that help you kind of put in perspective where you are right now with your career? And
yeah, he's brought that up, a couple times. He said, he's mentioned that, and it's one of those things where it's crazy. Obviously that was back in the 80s, and things were a lot different, but just kind of goes to show you, if it's not your day, it's not your day. As well as they ran, for him to to not have a win until he did there at Riverside. So like I said, I guess whenever it's meant to be our day, it will be, and hopefully that day comes.
Chase, before you leave, this weekend, teams are paying tribute to the late Wendell Scott, NASCAR Hall of Famer, commemorating his first start 56 years ago. How cool is that to be able to pay tribute to a guy like Wendell Scott? Oh,
for sure. Wendell, talk about a guy who earned it the hard way. I mean, I don't think you could find a guy. I've heard some stories about him over the years of working on his own cars, hauling stuff to the racetrack with just nothing. And I have a lot of respect for that. That's something that a hard work ethic is something that should be valued, and I think he definitely was the definition for sure.
Good deal. Well, thanks for taking the time to join us this morning. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
Take care now. We are going to continue on here with our Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability, and we're joined by Daniel Suarez, driver of the number 19 Aris Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Daniel, I know the Daytona 500 didn't quite turn out how you liked, but you're here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, big track for Aris. Talk about your thoughts going into this weekend.
Well, first of all, I'm happy to be here. It's one of those places that that you really enjoy a lot to be here already for Aris and for for my team. I really feel like this is going to be like our first race of the season where we are going to be exactly where we're at and how hard we have to work and how hard we have to get better. So I'm super excited about this weekend. Really, like I said, it's the backyard from Aris, so super excited to have a lot of people from Aris here this weekend as well.
Good deal. We're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have questions for Daniel, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Lee and then go to Mark, and then up here, Tucker.
Lee Spencer, motorsport.com. So how has the transition been now that you're a week-old Cup driver?
It's been good. Definitely more busy than the Xfinity Series. More going on, and you are more time in the racetrack than when you are in home. But it's good. I really enjoy a lot to spend time in the racetrack and with my team and working hard to become a better person, a better driver. So so far I'm really enjoying this a lot.
We're going to go next to Mark, then up to Tucker, then to Nate, and then to Caleb.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Daniel, Kyle Busch at some point here recently talked about the fact that when you came onto the Xfinity Series, he knew he was going to get a phone call 3 o'clock Thursday. When his phone rang, he looked. If it was 3 o'clock, it was usually you wanting to talk about that weekend's race. How do you use these guys now? I mean, because you're sort of a last-second thing. It wasn't a planned thing. You're kind of thrown in. How do you use your teammates now to help you get up to speed? What's been the process?
Well, definitely, it's very good to have good teammates and teammates that that you can lean with them, and you can ask a question and that they are going to answer that question in the right way. So it's just very good the position that I am right now. Working with Kyle, with Denny, with Matt. Actually, even with Carl Edwards is if he's not here, he's going to be here soon. So super excited to have friends like that to help me out, and I just feel like it's going to be a hell of a year for us. Definitely, we have a lot going on. We have to learn, but I really feel like we are in the right spot to try to learn as quick as possible. Yeah, well, all of you know Carl very well. He's a great guy, very good friend, and he just asked me, "Hey, Daniel, do you think do you want me to go over there? Do you think that would be helpful?" And I said, "Man, to have a driver like him who has a bunch of wins here in Atlanta, it's a big deal." So yeah, he's going to be here to help me out and to help the team out. Definitely, it's a team that he knows very well, and it's going to be good to have him just to watch and to tell us what's going on from his view.
Tucker.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. Daniel, in an interview you did with the Charlotte Observer, you said that in your transitioning here to life in the U.S., that you were watching like 2 movies a day. And as someone and a lot of other movie critics who say that film is a representation of American values, what films were you watching as quote-unquote homework?
Well, it's a lot of things that you have to put together to be able to do your what I call homework. It's just a lot of information that you can get from your team. I just feel like right now, everyone as a driver, we're in a very good position where we got a lot of information, which maybe 20 years ago drivers didn't have. We have a lot of videos, a lot of film, a lot of data, a lot of onboard cameras like you're watching over there. We got a lot of stuff that we can watch, that we can learn from it, and we can study before coming into a race. So it's very good for me to be able to get this information from my team and be able to try to take advantage of it.
Go next to Nate, and then to Caleb, and then we'll come up front.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Daniel, to follow up on the Carl Edwards question, I actually have two questions. The first is, when did you find out he was going to be coming and helping you, and did you ask for that? Did you push for that? Was that part of the deal here that like you wanted him to be here to help you out if he could be available?
Well, this is not a deal that we got. It's just a good friendship. I got the opportunity actually to do something with him during the week with a sponsor, and we were talking, and he asked me, "Hey, Daniel," I asked him, "Hey, are you going to Atlanta?" And he said, "Well, I wasn't thinking about it, but maybe if I can help you out, maybe I can go." So we were just talking, and I'm not sure if he's staying for the race or not, but he's coming today. So just to help out a little bit, he has maybe some free time today, and he's going to spend it at the racetrack.
Do you know, have you guys given any thought to, not that you would need this, but if he offered to get in the car, I mean, would there be any opportunity there? Have you guys discussed, like, if you needed him to make a lap just to kind of compare and baseline it, would you guys consider that, or?
Well, I'm not sure if that's possible. I don't think he has a license anymore. I don't know. I don't even know how that works. But honestly, we didn't think about it, and we didn't talk about it. So I don't think so. But you never know.
Key question is he going to give you flying lessons?
Yeah. You never know. You never know. But well, definitely he's going to be here to help, and I'm sure that it's going to be helpful to have someone like him with a lot of experience, just watching what's going on practice, and try to give a little advice.
Okay, we're going to go back to the left there to Caleb, right behind you.
Caleb Whistler, Speedway Digest. With the new tire rule going into effect this weekend, how are you going to approach qualifying to conserve your tires for the early stages of Sunday's race?
Well, I was talking with some people a little bit ago, and they told me, you don't know what you don't know. So this is new for me. So I don't really know the old tire. This is the only tire I know. Well, the only tire I will know. So you don't really know what you don't know. So this is what I got, and this is what I'm going to start with.
Chase Wellham, FoxSports.com. Daniel, I saw that you tried the cupping method on your arm after your workout. Talk about that a little bit. How that went and your workout routine and stuff.
Well, I'm still a little sore from that. I have done it a few times already. To be 100% honest with you, I'm not sure that helps or not. but they say that it does. And I'm trying to recover from some stuff from my right side arm. And we've been doing some work with that. And it's supposed to help me to recover faster. But who knows? So far, I'm just a little sore still.
We're going to go back right there to Stanley.
Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box, Daniel. If possible, what do you think is the biggest thing you learned about yourself running that race last weekend?
Well, last weekend definitely was a big race. I felt like I learned a lot in the clash and in the duels. It was a big deal for me to race those races. And in the Daytona 500, I just felt like we were trying to take care of ourselves the right way. And when it was time to race, we got wrecked. So unfortunately, I don't feel like I learned a lot because I was trying to take care of myself, trying to, stay out of trouble. And when it was time to race, I got wrecked. But I really feel like I learned a lot from the duels and from the clash, moving around, and a little bit in the Daytona 500 as well. I'm one of those drivers. I got this question a lot if I'm glad that this over speedway racing, and actually, I'm excited about Atlanta right now, but I'm super excited to come back to Daytona because I know that I can do much better than what I did. So I'm going to be super excited to get back to the super speedway races.
Back here to your left to Yvonne.
Yvonne Jones, kicking the tires. Daniel, you were the highest finishing rookie last week. How mindful of it are you?
I didn't know that until right now. I guess that's good, but we have a long season ahead. I don't think as a driver, I don't think about it right now. I have so much going on outside of that I feel like I have to improve. I have to get better, and if I do my job on the side of that, I feel like I'm going to be able to be strong in the rookie standings as well.
Well, Daniel, best of luck this weekend. Thanks for taking the time to join us, and good luck out there.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. If I can have your attention here in the Marcy Scott Media Center, we are now joined by the 2017 Daytona 500 champion, Kurt Busch, driver of the number 41 Monster Energy Haas Automation Ford. And Kurt, I will look through the list of all the interviews you have done since winning the Daytona 500. I lost track. Were you able to keep track of all the interviews you've done in the past week?
No, I haven't been able to keep track, and I never really even looked at the schedule. You go and you take it all in. You absorb it, and that's something that years ago when I won the championship, it was, you look at it and you think, oh man, this is a lot that goes along with it, and maybe I didn't soak it all in. And this time around, with my phone is still 400 texts deep. I can't get caught up. All the different interviews, shows, and moments, yes, everything. Been trying to soak it in and feel everything that I can. I mean, even just there's a story behind how this ring ended up back on my hand, and all the teamwork, all of the people that have helped make this happen. I just got to thank NASCAR for such a beautiful media week to go along with such an emotional, historic event in Daytona. I mean, to drive into victory lane at Daytona with a stock car in the Great American Race, it's one of the best feelings in the world to be able to accomplish that, and to do it with the team that I have at Stewart Haas Racing. It's their first Daytona 500 win. It's been a fairy tale. So here we are. I don't even know what day it is. I think I'm on track here in about an hour and a half for Atlanta, and that's when the focus of the regular season begins.
Well, if you get a little tired, we've got plenty of Monster Energy drink to
Very
keep you
good. Thank
energized.
you.
We're going to start with Jerry, then to Lee, and then to Jeff.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and Performance Racing Network. When you left Daytona, you said you were going to pace yourself. We saw what you did all week with NASCAR and your tour. How did the celebrations go, and has it sunk in finally?
Yeah, the key to pacing myself, that came from the groomsmen and the wedding festivities. We had this day and that day and this day, and they all added up together. And Sunday night after Victory Lane, and after all of the media requirements and different celebrations, pictures, my in-laws were there. We went to their boat, parked in the Intercoastal Waterway to have a couple beers. And then my phone's blowing up with Monster people. And they're like, hey, we're down at Razzles. I'm like, Razzles? I remember that place. Let's go. And they're like, yeah, Gronk's down here. He's got the VIP area. I'm like, okay, here we go. And so I don't know what time I left Razzles, but I was there partying with Gronk. And that's a cool stamp to put down to say that you did that. And Mark Hall is there, Mitch Covington, all of the top Monster people that made that happen. All of the top SHR people are there. Even like college grads like Mike Verlander wearing his khakis are inside Razzles having a good time. Those are those celebrations that you don't forget about, and we did it right. And that was the pacing myself. I left there, I think it was 3:15, 3:30 or so. That's what it takes. You got to pace yourself all week long, and that way I made it to the breakfast luncheon, or the breakfast event with Daytona, and pushing our car into the Hall of Fame Museum the proper way on Monday morning.
We'll go next to Lee, then to Jeff, then to Bob, then to Mike.
LeeSpencerMotorsport.com. What is the story behind the ring, so we get that out of the way?
So there's 3 rings for winning the Daytona 500. There's driver, crew chief, and owner. And as we gathered to take the picture, well, I have 2 owners. I have Gene Haas, Tony Stewart. And so Tony Gibson, he got his. We moved him off to the side. You're like, you got yours. I gave my ring to Tony Stewart. I said, I'll get mine later on when they do a ring ceremony with all the crew guys. Tony, take my ring. He says, okay, all right, you don't have to do that. No, I don't want it. I'm like, Tony, take my ring. Well, at Razzles, later on that evening, the ring is floating around with all the crew guys, putting it on, taking pictures, and then I'm like, whose ring is that? I thought Stewart had mine, and Gene Haas, he's already off to Barcelona to go to the F1 test, and Gibson had his on. So it's Tony Stewart's ring was floating around all the crew guys, and one guy shows up at the breakfast deal the next morning, and he was pretty lit up. And we're like, oh, there it is. Get it off his fingers, because he got a bit too drunk and didn't remember to pass it to the next guy. So this is Tony Stewart's ring. I'm going to give it back to him today, and then all the crew guys will get their rings later on.
And your mom told me on Monday after you won your Cup championship that it took like 3 months for it to sink in. For her, I guess, is it? You get the feeling that this one's a little more real for them, real-time celebration.
I believe so, because Daytona, it's so vivid. You know, winning a championship exhausts you over a full season, and in this day and age in NASCAR, the 10 weeks that it takes to win it. Daytona is 10 days of an extreme high just for a normal practice session, or an extreme low when you have crash damage or something like that. Daytona is bang, bang, bang. All the different emotions and stress levels get checked. And my mom has always had a displeasure for Daytona and Talladega because of the plate racing. Her fear became a reality when Kyle broke his foot a couple years ago at Daytona. She just always hopes that her boys come home safe. And so I can't wait to bring the trophy to her and say, you know, we conquered Daytona one time, but she's still more worried about safety and her boys coming home safe. But it has sunk in, and we just came up with an idea this morning. I realized that there's only 2 trophies from Victory Lane, and you cannot get replicas of the Harley J. Earl trophy. Gene Haas has his from the breakfast afterwards, and it's now in Oxnard, California at the Haas Automation CNC headquarters. My trophy is at the race shop right now. All the crew guys been taking selfies with it, pictures. They had a toast the other night with it. I'm going to get the nice carrying case that goes with it, and I'm going to send it out on a tour. I'm going to turn our Harley J. Earl into the Stanley Cup, and it's going to go and make events here, events there, because I wanted to get replicas for Ford, for Monster Energy, for myself, for whomever is significant enough to get a replica of, but they only make 2. That's what is so significant and powerful about this trophy. And so the first visit after SHR's race shop, we'll bring it to Las Vegas so that the fans of my hometown can see it. And then we'll send it on over to Corona, California, so we're going to hang out in the Monster headquarters for a little while.
Go next to Jeff, then to Bob, then to Mike, and then to Reed.
Jeff from jeffgluck.com. What's been the most surreal part about all this for you?
It's hard to pinpoint one moment. I mean, Victory Lane is overwhelming. To have Mark Hall and Mitch Covington from Monster Energy stand there and take a picture next to the trophy with you. But then at the same time, to have Gene Haas and Tony Stewart stand there with you and take a picture. You know, Tony Gibson is all over the internet. You know, he's a meme now with his laid-back video and his celebration. And to see that emotion, that's what makes me the happiest. All of the crew guys that he has underneath him, and that's part of our 41 team. My phone, I can't get caught up with all the texts, and my friends who were there celebrating with me, and even like my old car owner in Las Vegas that I'll see in a couple weeks. You know, he's a 70-year-old man, and he's got a video of himself crying. I don't know which one is the biggest, other than being able to get out of the car in Victory Lane and know that you won the Great American Race. That has to be the biggest high, is right there in Victory Lane. Rory sent that, my PR guy sent that to me, I think it was Wednesday afternoon, and I just busted up laughing, and I made sure I circulated it as quick as I could as well.
Does that mean you're going to call him Old Meme instead of Old Man?
That's pretty good there, yeah.
Go next to Bob.
Bob Hocker, ESPN. Do you have any celebrations set for Vegas? I don't know how much ties you still have to that area when you go back next week.
Nothing specific to Daytona 500 yet. One thing that I know that we were already planning on doing was my high school reached out to me. I graduated 20 years ago. It's good and bad, I guess. But I am bringing a 2004 championship replica car. It's a Ford. And it will be in front of the gymnasium at my high school. And we're doing a student assembly. And they wanted to induct me into their Sports Hall of Fame because they've had some other baseball players and football players come through Durango High School. And so we're actually going to unveil my hood hanging in the rafters, and it's the Sharpie 2004 championship hood. And so that's going to be on Thursday before race weekend in Vegas. And it'll be neat. We've got all kinds of giveaways for the students. I talked to the high school principal, who I actually went to school with. He's now the principal there, Nate Miller. And we're going to have a bunch of giveaways, have a little pep rally. It's going to be Spirit Day at Durango High School, and that'll be Thursday before race weekend in Vegas. Jeff Motley gave us tickets to give away for the race, as well as Pole Position Raceway gave away 97 go-kart passes for kids to come to the go-kart track and race at the go-kart track. So we'll see what builds off of these events. But again, there's still the focus of the regular season that we have in front of us.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Kurt, what does Sunday and all that's happened since Sunday mean to the rest of the season? You just mentioned that, all the work that's ahead. What kind of boost or whatever does that give you for the rest of the year?
It's an incredible feeling to win the Daytona 500, but it comes with a peace of mind to know that we're a race winner. In 2017, we have 5 bonus points that we will carry with us all through the chase. It gives you that motivation to go out there and win these different stages and get those bonus points, to get race wins. And it also just gives you that sense of calm. If you have a bad race, there's no huge issue. Even such as today, there's a lot of anxiety with the crew chiefs on cars getting through tech inspection in time to be able to qualify here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And since it's a new procedure, a new process, we're just as focused. But for us on the 41 car, we have some wiggle room with things. And so it's neat to have that sense of security as our foundation for the 2017 season.
Go next to Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. By the way, spring training cards 3-0 when we were there. So.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Did you see Theo Epstein shacking it against Dempster? That was pretty good.
Sounded like after the 500, you got texts from about the entire Andretti clan. The club of Daytona 500 and Indy 500 winners is very exclusive at this point. Do you have any desire to go back and try that again? And did any of those texts include an invitation to drive in the Indy 500?
You're right. It's amazing to have the camaraderie and the ability just to have open conversations with great legends such as Mario Andretti, Michael, and Marco. And I haven't even gotten, I saw Mario's because his came in early on Sunday or Monday morning. But I haven't talked to Michael about things. I haven't talked to Marco. The emotions of this event, yes, it fits right in when I won in 2014 at Martinsville early in the year. It gives you that calm sense of things so I can go focus on other things and have the ability to run the Indy 500. I haven't reached out to Michael. I haven't reached out to any other team. My focus really has been to settle in with Ford and to get 2017 underway and to give my full focus to the Stewart-Haas race team. It'll be very difficult at this point with a Daytona 500 win and the emotions and the amount of responsibility that comes with it. Because the Ford executives called me and said, what dates do you have available to come up to Dearborn, Michigan? We want to bring our race-winning Ford GT drivers from Le Mans and from the Daytona 24 Hours up for a big day at Ford. The schedule's getting full. The month of March, we're on that West Coast run. I think my first day that there isn't anything scheduled is April 5th or something like that, and that's on our way out to Texas. So it's a busy time. I don't know if I'll be able to run Indy this year, but it's really neat to have the fraternity of the IndyCar drivers reach out to me and to celebrate with the 41 car.
Go next to Chris.
KidsFans.com. Kurt, congratulations on the victory. I was just wondering if I could talk about Ashley for a second. And it seems like how she's made you a better race car driver. And just heard your Sirius XM interview yesterday with Dave Moody. It just seems like she has done so much to change you for the better as a person, and I think it's made you a better driver too. And I was just wondering if you could talk about that.
It's amazing. Since the first day we met, there's been this instant chemistry, and a lot of it has to do with her sports background and being an athlete and jumping out onto the polo field to compete. She knows what it takes, the time, the commitment, the effort, to be with teammates and to do your homework, research, and watch video, and to put that full commitment into things. With her, it's been seamless. And what's been tough for me, I mean, just like I got to tell a story about my mom a little earlier on, she just wants her boys to come home safe. And it was great to celebrate a win at Daytona. My mom is already a little apprehensive about Talladega because it's coming up, and she doesn't like those races. She just feels nervous about them. And that's the pessimist side of me that I have and I'm trying to grow away from, where Ashley says, be positive, think good thoughts, know that you have everything you've in place to win. And the power of positivity through Ashley has been incredible. And her calmness and her ability at such a young age to influence me, it's just like a special team member that I never knew that I was missing, and she's helped me grow and to become stronger on the racetrack. And to have the home life and to have the time at the track and the celebrations and the fun things that we do, I couldn't have found a better partner in life.
Well, Kurt, we got one more question here on the right.
Hey, Kurt, Darius Goodman, Henry Herald. When you won your championship in 2004, I was 11 years old. That's the first part. Second part is, how does it feel to kind of own a Daytona 500 championship win over Kyle Busch? You know, I don't want to create another rivalry between the brothers, but how does it feel to have that over him now?
Oh, we have plenty of moments to dispute between the two of us. But he can immediately rebuttal that with, well, he's won at Indianapolis. And that is a huge win in our sport, to win at the Brickyard. Yes, I have a little bit of a sly edge right now because of the buzz and the energy that comes from winning at Daytona, and it's 2017. But over the years, he's done an incredible job to become his own legendary driver with the statistics and everything he's done in the Cup Series, Xfinity, in the Truck Series, and even as an owner. I'm very proud of him for what he's done as an owner in the NASCAR Series, in the Truck Series, especially with his farm system and finding these drivers. I mean, Kyle right now is the best talent scout out there. And you know, to race with him in the Xfinity Series and win that race at Richmond a few years ago, that was a big brother moment. So I think the more that that time goes by, as well as stats that we were able to achieve add up, the two of us are getting closer instead of further apart as we go through life and racing.
Finish up here at Chase.
Chase Wilhelm, FoxSports.com. Kurt, going along with Chris's question, you have a lot of great balance in your life right now. Everything's going well. What would the 38-year-old Kurt Busch tell the 28-year-old Kurt Busch? What's the biggest thing you'd tell your younger self that you know now?
To slow down and to not push so hard and to not put so much emphasis on one race weekend. I was such a perfectionist early on in my life, and maybe it helped get me to this point, but it also took away some other abilities to absorb what was going on around me and to help myself just enjoy those different moments. And so I think patience is definitely the biggest thing that I would preach. Putting together a game plan that's a bit more long-term instead of week to week or month to month. That would be something that I would tell my younger self. And you know, it was tough though, coming from Las Vegas, being an outsider, moving to the Southeast and trying to fit into the good old boy Southern world. I was just hell-bent at trying to make sure that I got to stay here. And yet, if I could have just told myself, you've made it this far, things are going to work out okay, just calm down a little bit, settle in. This is the final destination, so to speak, of motorsports. And that's something that I didn't do early on in my career.
Well, Kurt, congratulations again on the Daytona 500 championship. And hey, run well again on Sunday. We'll probably see you back in here.
Great. Thank
Take
you.
care now.
We'll do our best.
If I could have your attention here in the deadline room, we're now joined by William Byron, driver of the number 9 Liberty University Chevrolet for Junior Motorsports. William, big week for you. I mean, Exalta coming on board for a number of races. It has to be good to get that under your belt and work with them heading into this season.
Yeah, it feels really good to have their support for 15 races this year. So
good to fill out the schedule for us, get all of our sponsorship in line, and great to work with a company that's been in racing for a long time. So really excited about that, and just excited about this weekend at Atlanta, and hopefully have a good couple of practices coming up and have a good weekend.
Good deal. We'll open the floor up for questions. You have a question for William, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start with Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. William, can you sort of handicap the Rookie of the Year battle this year on the Xfinity Series? You got a lot of really good young drivers like yourself in very good race cars.
I think it's going to be good. I mean, there's 4 or 5 of us in really good cars, so hopefully it comes down to the end of the year and we're all racing each other for wins and stuff like that. So really excited about that part, but just ready to get going with my JRM team and hopefully have a good couple of practices today and have a good weekend to kind of start off the season on our mile and a halves and see where our performance is.
Now, William, there was an action-packed race last weekend at Daytona International Speedway. Yeah. You survived all of that to have a great finish. What do you expect to see from that Xfinity Series field here at Atlanta Motor Speedway?
I don't think it'll be anything like that, but I think there's 7 or 8 Cup guys in the field, so that's going to be a good thing for us to learn from, and it's going to be a pretty clean race. I think it's going to be a lot of moving around, different lanes to run on this racetrack. The bottoms around the white line's pretty good, but also running against the wall in 1 and 2s can be helpful. So I think it's going to be a lot of different lines, and it's going to be slick. So we're going to be sliding around.
Good. We'll go next to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and Performance Racing Network. William, in the Truck Series, you'd be taking a few weeks off now after this race, but you're going to be going into several races in a row on a string here. How are you preparing yourself for the bigger schedule, busier schedule in the Xfinity Series?
I think just trying to stay connected with the team, trying to be in the shop. I think it's good that we get to go to a few races after this, get in a rhythm of what we're doing, and hopefully have some good results. So I'm excited about that part, just being able to go to multiple racetracks. Most of them are not new for me, so that's a good thing for the learning curve. But just excited to kind of get going and see where we are and see what we can work on, and then have a week off to kind of rebuild and readjust for the next stretch after that. No, I think I'm pretty excited to get on the racetrack, so it's going to be fun just going especially with everything being new. It's kind of like being a kid in a candy store, so I just excited to get in the race car and see what we can do.
Well, here you're a kid in a quick trip, so you've got the
yeah.
We'll go back to Caleb.
Caleb Whistler, Speedway Digest. Over the offseason, you made a transition from Toyota to Chevy and from Camping World Truck Series to the Xfinity Series. Could you just talk about how that transition is going with one race under your belt?
Yeah, it's gone really smooth so far. I think everyone at JRM's been really nice to work with, and they've got a lot of knowledge. So it's just been good to lean on Dave a little bit, my crew chief, lean on all the guys on the 9 team, and also the other drivers we have, and as well as all the guys at HMS working with them. So I think it's been good. It's been smooth, and hopefully this weekend goes really well too.
Go to your right to Zach.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. William, the experience from your first, that was kind of my question, but your first race weekend with all your JRM teammates, they've got so much experience. How much were you able to kind of tap into, what they've been working on, and what were you able to learn from them?
Well, we got to test here, so I think that's a good benefit for me, but it kind of gives me a head start. But really with them, just kind of working on different things they feel aero-wise. We were just talking in the trailer just about what we felt in the first practice. But, the first practice, we only ran a couple laps. So I think the biggest thing will just be to lean on them during practice, see what their crew chiefs have to say about how their cars are handling, and try and combine all of our knowledge into one good effort. So I think we definitely have a lot of teams out there. I mean, 4 of us full-time is a lot, but I think it's working pretty well.
Do we have any additional questions here for William? William, good luck out there today, and
thank you.
See you again.
Thank you.
If I could have your attention here in the Marcy Scott Media Center, we are now joined by Brandon Jones, driver of the number 33 Anderson's Maple Syrup Chevrolet in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Brandon, no stranger to Atlanta Motor Speedway or Atlanta. How's it like to be home here with Anderson's on the car?
I enjoy coming back here, man. This is one of the tracks that, obviously it is going to be repaved, but not just yet. So it takes a lot of skill, a lot of talent to be able to drive this place at the best of your ability. It's extremely wore out, so tires are obviously a big factor here. I enjoy coming back to Georgia, coming back to Atlanta. I've got a little bit of family here. I've got some family in Arkansas as well, so kind of got a little bit of a fan following here. So I'm enjoying it. I just look forward to it.
What's your earliest memory of Atlanta Motor Speedway?
I forget when the first time I came here was. It's been a while. I was definitely just getting into racing, so maybe around 13 or 14 I was coming here.
That's cool. We're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question for Brandon, we'll get a wireless microphone to you. Start here with Zach.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. Brandon, how do you feel starting off year 2 after having one full season under your belt? Realize you're only one race in, but you guys do have a pole. What's it been like settling in, and has it gotten easier?
Yeah, absolutely. Second time around, I've seen every racetrack that we've been on now so far. Got the rookie stripes off the car, so hopefully that'll give a little bit more incentive to the drivers, racing around you a little bit. It's kind of like a target on your back whenever you have those rookie stripes. So I'm glad to have those off. Had a whole round of seeing every racetrack. I'm sure we're still going to have our struggles at road courses and things like that, obviously, but I've been here multiple times in truck and a couple other things. So this is no stranger for sure.
Go next to Woody.
So Woody came with MRN. Just curious about you and Brendan Gaughan kind of going back and forth at each other with your Twitter wars. You had the driver's suit last year. If you guys are still pranking each other, and maybe a little hint of what's coming down the road.
I'm kind of scared, man. We've got Vegas coming up, and he said that's his town, and it's going to be a heck to pay for me. So I'm curious to see. You definitely will be able to see some stuff on Twitter and social media, I'm sure, on that for sure. I don't know what to expect yet. He said it started off hanging me off the South Point, and then that got vetoed really quick. So.
Additional questions right now for Brandon? Okay. We'll go here to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfans.com. Brandon, last week's wreck at Daytona looked like it was pretty vicious. Just wondering if that was the hardest wreck that you've ever had in your career and how you're feeling after the wreck.
Yeah, that was definitely the hardest I've ever had. Actually, the second one is probably Martinsville of all racetracks. We got hit pretty hard there in the truck one time. I was rattled up a little bit initial crash and everything, but I'm no more soreness, nothing bothered me. Hit my elbow a little bit, so that's kind of bruised up. But as far as that, man, I'm good to get back in it. I've been in the gym all week long getting ready. And it's been just pretty normal, so I'm good. I'm ready to go.
We'll go next to Lee.
Can you talk about the difference between your relationship with Mike Hillman and your new relationship with Nick Harrison?
I enjoyed having Mike last year. He's been around obviously a long time in the sport, on a truck team now, so that's pretty cool to see him out there. We had very similar personalities last year, I felt like. Obviously, it was a new car for me as well. Whole new season last year. A lot of tracks I haven't been to, and so it was kind of a hard judgment to tell, really, on our performance. I thought we hit it off really well personality-wise, but this year, obviously, having Nick Harrison, I worked with him as the very first time I ever got an RCR car was with Nick Harrison at Iowa. We were fastest in both practices the first time I sat in it, so we've had a pretty good little past for us. And we're enjoying it so far this year as well. We've got a really good team put behind us.
Go back to Woody.
Just curious about what it's too early to say expect, but how you think the stage racing might be different at a place like Atlanta versus what we saw at Daytona.
I think the only difference is you're going to see people get spread out some. Obviously at Daytona you're in the pack there. You're all trying to obviously get a stage win, get inside that top 10, and you're just also bunched up and trying to side draft so much there. I think that's where a lot of the wrecks and stuff that you saw were caused from. Here at Atlanta, though, I feel like the top 10 may be kind of in a little bit of a group, but you still get spread out enough. You're not drafting as crazy as like you are at Daytona and stuff. So new aero package is definitely different. I'll be curious to see how it is running around people. But usually you're wide open on a track like this, and now you're having to lift and be on the brake a little bit too. So getting used to that some as well. It's been different for sure.
Additional questions for Brandon? Well, Brandon, good luck out there today, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.